Hi, it's Tuesday, so here's Tip Tuesday. I'm Jeff Vogan with Premier Retirement Planning and Wealth Management. The tip of the week is how to manage risks. Now, there's more risk than just market risk. There's market risk. We know what that is. That's when the stock market crashes and you don't want to lose any money. When it comes to retirement funds, there's a lot of risks to look at. Market is just one of them. There's also longevity risk. What if you live too long? Can you make your money last? How do you prioritize, structuring those dollars so that in the wake of market ups and downs, you won't run out of money? How about the risk of leaving a survivor? If you're retired and maybe you and a spouse are both supplying income for that ideal retirement life, and one of you passes away, what's that going to do to the other spouse? Are they going to be left hanging with half the income and still 3/4 or 80% of the bills? Or do you have a retirement plan that actually makes up income for that surviving spouse? Do you have a nest egg? Do you have life insurance? Those are some things that you need to think about as well. What about health care? Long-term care is a very expensive proposition. Do you have a plan for that? Are you going to self-insure? Are you going to risk all that you've saved up for just to spend it all in the final 2 or 3 years of your life while you're invalid in a nursing home, or heaven forbid, a Alzheimer's lockdown facility or something like that? Do you have an insurance policy for that? Maybe you need long-term care insurance. Maybe you need just a big old nest egg in a bucket so that you can have those bills paid. Or you can use some asset-based long-term care plans, which will actually multiply a certain amount of assets that you set aside for that type of an expense, where you can use 2 or 3 times your money should you go to that type of a situation. And if you don't, your heirs will also get 2 or 3 times your money. So in other words, there's a way to leverage assets to make sure that contingency is paid for, that risk is taken care of. What about tax risk? Part of wealth transfer is paying too much in taxes, more than you legally need to. So a good tax plan might also be one of those risks. Now, do you think taxes could go up in a few years? Boy, based on what I'm hearing on the news and all the politicians talking about the things that they want to have us pay for with our tax money, I can't imagine taxes going down. I can only imagine them possibly going up. So the risk of losing your money and losing your future ideal retirement to paying too much in taxes is a very real risk, and something that you should take a focus on, and make sure that you and your advisor work together to make sure that future forward-looking tax plan, not just a backwards-looking tax preparation type program with your CPA is taken, but a good planning situation taken care of. What about interest rate risk? We've seen other countries actually lower interest rates, even go negative on interest rates. How are you going to make money if you aren't comfortable with the stock market to have all your assets in a risky place for the long term of your retirement? Instead, you might use bonds or some lower interest but safer places to park your money. Interest rate risk is a very real rate of risk. If interest rates go up, your assets go down in value. If interest rates go down, like they probably will, believe it or not, I think they still have some downward movement to go. You might actually make a little bit of money on bonds, but if you look at the long term, how are you going to base a retirement on a 1 or 2% interest rate? That's going to be tough. So we need to look for safe ways to make more interest, and that's why I like indexed products, the fixed indexed annuities, indexed life insurance policies. Insurance companies can actually leverage that interest. So instead of making 1 or 2%, maybe you can make 2 or 3 times that in a safe, guaranteed, principal protected place. So what about inflation? A lot of people are worried about inflation. Not sure how big a deal that's going to be, but inflation is a real thing. The fact that you want to spend more money in the beginning of your retirement than in the later parts of retirement may mean that you kind of front-end load your retirement plan a little bit, so you get a little bit more income up front. But nevertheless, those things that are basic, like food, utilities, and normal housing costs, not necessarily a mortgage, but what if you move to an assisted living facility or need to rent a place, in your final years? Are you going to have enough money? Are you factoring in inflation into that? So again, it isn't just a stock market risk that we need to worry about in retirement. There's a lot more things that come to play. Keep in mind, there's a lot of risks, and you might need an advisor to help you navigate through those uncharted waters as you near retirement, or if you're already there. If you need some help, give us a call.